Is what?
I said Malcolm alleged that some of Elijah's women were underage secretaries, and can you expound on that?
Yeah, well, I guess they were because they were there. I seen them. I seen them myself. It's all true. It's all true.
Good evening, messenger. You convinced us that you were the last messenger. How many other bastard children do you have?
With the captain, Ring Magazine, great. And what I'm missing, the Hall of Famer, Captain Leon Muhammad, man. If you want to support, get the book or go to my Cash App, Silent Heroes, SILENTHEROS. And you just said that you were a part of some historical marches and stuff for black people.
Yes, Fred. We had a civil rights lawyer in Philadelphia named Cecil B. Moore. And there was a college called Girard College at Ridge and Girard in North Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
I got to spell this out because I don't want you telling me about explaining to the people. Cecil B. Moore was a great civil rights. He brought in Dr. King, and we marched for them to open the doors to black students. Girard College is still open now at Ridge and Girard, 19th and Girard Avenue in North Philadelphia. I marched on that, and we marched on City Hall for the rights of the black voters in Philadelphia. Mm. That's how I got hooked up into city politics with the former late lawyer Cecil Basson Moore.
Mm.
Hey, then I went on to run for city council and the state senate. That's how I became politically involved with the former mayor John Street and my guy, the former mayor Bill Green, William B. Green.
Mm.
So I was well connected to late judges. I can talk about the judges, all them dead. I was connected to judges Charlie Durham, Judge Cheney Harris, who got stripped because he said he was taking bribes. So I got caught up in a lot of stuff in City Hall.
Mm.
It said I was fixing cases.
Mm.
It is what it is. So now your people know how I stayed around this long and how I can make things happen. And next question, please.
So you spent some time with Martin Luther King. Tell us about the time you spent some.
No, Fred, let me say this to you. Because you know I was in the nation that time. I went close to Dr. King. Make it known. He came in and marched with us one time in Philadelphia. I ain't spent no time with him. I was at the march with him for Girard College. That's it, Fred.
Okay. I'm just asking.
Yeah, you asked him because you paying for it. You got right there. Next question.
Who do you think did more for black people? Malcolm X or Martin Luther King?
I want to Martin open some doors, put pressure on the Supreme Court, put pressure, but for it's rallying people to defend themselves and die for the cause of what they believe in, is Malcolm. Mm. If you want to kiss butts and integrate, Martin King. Mm. Martin King had more people committed to him in the South, but he didn't have a lot of people in the North committed to him. But the Jews that want to support him and get credit. Mm. But Malcolm rallied the real soldiers and the nationalists. Malcolm rallied them.
So you said kiss butts and rally. So you didn't agree with that?
No, I didn't. The bottom line, Fred, because I know where you're going with this. The bottom line is that Malcolm was a better spokesman than Dr. King, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I would go with Malcolm any day.
So what was your take when Elijah Muhammad said stand down for Ronald Stokes and a Nation of Islam member in New York, or that police department on the
Okay,
22nd, 23rd, somewhere in there.
let me say this. If it would have been us, if that would have happened in Philadelphia, Elijah wouldn't have said nothing to Minister Jeremiah. Because he didn't dictate to Jeremiah like he dictated to the other minister. He didn't dictate to us, so we didn't go for that.
Mhm.
You run Chicago, but see, Fred, something I never told you. He was over, Elijah we was under Elijah, but Elijah never owned the mosque in Philadelphia. Minister Jeremiah owned that building.
Mhm.
So he owned the building. So when Wallace came in, Wallace couldn't shut the building down because the building was never under it was under the charter. It was associated with the Nation of Islam.
Ah.
Jeremiah, when we bought the building on 12th and Susquehanna, Jeremiah was smart enough to put the building in his granddaughter's name. The bathroom around the corner. Look for the bathroom is. So that's what that is.
Huh. So
Yeah.
that's so y'all was like uh, uh y'all were like a independently owned McDonald's then. And I say that respectfully. So like Mosque 12 was under the umbrella, but not under the rule of the Nation of Islam.
Fred, you smarter than you look.
No.
See, Fred, we knew that the change was coming. We just didn't know when. I knew in the mid '60s, late '60s, that Wallace was coming. When Wallace got out of jail in '63, he was talking like an A-Rag because his father put him out. You know, Wallace was put out when he came home because he told his father, "This is not Islam." So when he took over, he closed down all the mosques. But when he found out that Jeremiah owned the building, he couldn't really set us down. So he made an agreement with Jeremiah to come to New York and take over number 7. And first he gave it to Farrakhan. When Jeremiah was going to kill Farrakhan, he signed Farrakhan to Chicago and gave him a little mosque. When Farrakhan broke off, him and his wife went to the Caribbean for a couple of years. In '78, he came back and said he's going to revive the nation. John Ali told you that. That's how that went down, Fred. See, it's nothing he could do. So what Jeremiah did, he took the building and sold it to the Arab. Wallace couldn't do nothing because you know if we had that building under the charter, Elijah children that he had outside, they had claim to the money. Tell me Jeremiah wasn't smart. See, all those monsters went in the escrow. And that was under the charter. But 12, and I think number 6, and I'm not sure about number 4 in DC, whether them brothers put that under the charter or not. When the one that Elijah established burned down, them brothers got together. Brothers came out the streets and built a mosque. I don't know if they gave the building to the nation or they kept the building to themselves and rented it to the nation. So you understand what I'm saying now, Fred?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Definitely makes a lot of sense.
So Fred, had all them buildings would have been in the Nation of Islam name, they all would have, when the government, when the state of Illinois put all them in the escrow, so the children, they could be sold, and the children, the outside children, and get their money. The Wallace had to do that. But there was 5 or 6 mosques that he couldn't do because they weren't owned by the nation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now.
And plus, Fred, none of them women were smart enough not to come to Philly and ask for no money. They wasn't that crazy. They know the history of Philadelphia. They know the history. They know our history.
Mm.
But see, Fred, I'm not sure about number 4 in D.C. because the original one that Elijah established in D.C., that one burned down. I know that one's on the challenge. That one called electricity because it was in an old building. Then the brothers that came out of the street, they had that money and they built a new one. I don't know if they put it under the nation charter or not. That I can't testify but tell your fans about because I don't know about that one. But I know number 6, Elijah didn't own that one. And the one down in Columbus, South Carolina, 38, he didn't own that. But the rest of them, I know Captain Sam and all of them was under the charter, and Captain Bob and them down in number 47 in Tampa. Next question, Fred.
So what's the charter?
The charter means that all the mosques come up under the nation of Islam. Like you got a bus charter, all these buses is for this company, just like the bunch of buildings is for this company. Like Freddie, if you got a company, Fred Incorporated, you got a store across town, you got a clothing store here, and you got a clothing store in DC, and you got one in New York. All that's under your charter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So when Elijah Muhammad punished y'all in Philadelphia, did y'all just laugh at it or what?
He never could punish us because he couldn't. He know he couldn't.
Really?
He didn't own the building. Only Minister Jeremiah of Mike Tyson's father-in-law had the control. Imam Shamsuddin, known at that time, Captain Clarence, who I love dearly, Imam Shamsuddin Ali, Mike Tyson, current father-in-law, Kiki's father,
Mm-hmm.
could set me down.
Right.
But he taught me Islam. He cleaned me up. Not Elijah, Imam Shamsuddin Ali
Yeah, you
cleaned
said
me
that
up.
before. So
He
what's
cleaned me up.
interesting about that is y'all never, you were the business captain, correct?
Yes, I was not a security captain. I was a business captain. I was tight with all this with the security captain and all the lieutenants. I had my own squad.
So what were your duties?
Well, I took care of the business part, the fish, the pies, the newspapers, and whatever business that Celine, Minister Jeremiah, Muhammad needed me to do.
Ah, so now it's starting to make all sense to me now. Y'all sent them, once you wisened up, you sent Elijah what you wanted to send him.
Ray Charles can see that he dead and blind.
It's just the piling up of information that I'm getting from you. That's all. So now I
You
can
see what I'm
ask you
saying,
this.
Fred? You see what I'm saying? Everybody had a quarter they had to send Chicago, but we didn't have no quarter because really we could have sent nothing. What could he do? We owned the building.
Damn, that makes a lot of sense.
See, Minister Jeremiah, I didn't go to Savior's Day every year, Fred. Minister Jeremiah and a lot of lieutenant captain, all of them, Celine and Almeen, all of them went out there, but I wasn't even going to Chicago, man. See, when I became a business captain, I didn't go to no Savior's Day, man. See, everything I know about Islam, Imam Shamsuddin taught me. That's my guy, Imam Shamsuddin Ali, Mike Tyson, current father-in-law. That's my brother for real, man. Good guy, good soldier. I ain't seen him in a while, but I saw his son in New York. He said, Cap, I know you want me to tell my father how much you love him. He said, I heard all your videos. You give my father his just due. I said, man, that's how I was taught by your father. You give the just due. So Fred, Elijah got more money out of all these mosques than he got out of 12. Trust me, bro.
Trust me. So if y'all made $1,000, how much would you send to Chicago? A ratio.
If you say if I made $1,000,
Yeah,
what is the question?
if you made $10,000, right? If you and your crew made $10,000, how much would you send to Chicago?
I might send him 300. Because I'm doing, listen,
God! You're
but Fred,
hilarious.
now here's the difference.
You was robbing Elijah Muhammad.
Listen, Hear me out. Let me explain this. Explain it to the people. Let me explain what I just said. Freddie, if I made $1,000 or 10,000 off the papers and the fish, I turned in all the fish papers and the Akbar juice and the bean pies money. But my personal money plan, I found a few $100 just because the Quran said you got to give charity, you got to give sadaqah. In Arabic, it's called sadaqah. In the church, it's called charity. That's what I did, Fred. But I never took no bean pie money, or paper money, or the juice money, or paper money. I gave all that to the temple at that time, then to the mosque.
Yeah.
But my personal money, when I signed something in Chicago, it'd have been a lot less because I had a family. I had 6, 7 children.
So if
I
Elijah
wasn't,
Muhammad knew
I
you
wasn't
was
taking care of a lot of grown
no,
ass
I know,
children.
I know, I know. Let me just can I finish? And so if Elijah Muhammad found out you was, we're gonna use the term rob. We're gonna say it's not robbing, it's shortchanging him. What would he do to the average person that's shortchanging him?
I don't know what he would do, but he wasn't gonna do nothing. He wasn't gonna do nothing to Alice and Ben Child because he done had a problem, bruh. Let me tell you something, bruh. I was like this.
I don't get that.
I wasn't giving up. Listen, you telling me to give you my money, your daughters can wear fur coats, and my daughter and my wife couldn't wear fur coats, and all of them bleed once a month. Come on, man. Fred, when they said that, when I got here, when they said your wife couldn't wear no jewelry or fur coat, but your daughter wearing fur coats, and her daughter wearing fur coats, and the captain's wife wearing fur coats, but my wife couldn't wear no fur coats and jewelry. Come on, man, that's hypocritical. That's when I wised up, Fred. That's when I got wise.
Damn. Damn. So I get it now. It's like I'm I always suspected that just from
I'm
the
telling you
whole,
what it
not from
was.
you.
Ain't no suspect, and I don't care who don't like that I said it.
No. So so what would have happened to Elijah Muhammad had he came for you? Because you said he
If
was.
he came to Philadelphia, but see, Freddie, he came to Philadelphia a couple times when I came in. But he didn't come to Philadelphia with that rah-rah shit. Because he know the brothers wasn't going, but we was different kind of Muslims. We was gangsters, bruh.
Wow.
Elijah wasn't no gangster. He was part-time religious and fucking girls.
He was
From
part-time
what the
what?
press said.
Part-time what?
Part-time preacher and having affairs from what the press said and what Malcolm said.
Wow. I'm
I'm
learning a lot.
saying
I'm
because
learning a lot. I'm learning a lot right
yeah,
now.
because you pay for this. What else you want to learn?
I already paid for it.
No, you ain't paying for nothing. You ain't paying for this.
I did.
Or
I've been
something.
paying for it.
What,
See, you're not paying attention.
when you pay for it?
I've been sent it. See you.
No, you told me what you saw, Fred.
Yeah. It's man. Listen. I'm gonna just stop telling you things. But anyways.
Okay, go ahead.
No,
Go ahead, brother. You know I'm gonna
that's
call
just
my nephew
interesting,
anyway.
man. No, that's very interesting because to hear it from you is eye opening. For me to suspect it is common, right? But it's like wow,
Yeah.
like it was really like a
Fred, let me
internal
tell you
underworld.
something. Fred, ask some of the old timers that you know uptown that came around. They didn't see no women with jewelry and makeup on. The sister wear makeup when they go to the mosque now, because the man Muhammad came in and said, sisters, be yourself, serve God.
Hmm.
So, I mean, Fred, when my wife told me, she said, I'm about a fur coat. And the minister said you couldn't, not Minister Jeremiah, but a minister from, assistant minister from Florida. She said, sister, you got to take that fur coat off and give it to me. She said, what you gonna do with it? He said, I'm going to give it to my wife. She said, my wife, Rose said, nigga, Rose, you mess around and you get shot in the mouth playing with me. My father bought this fur coat I'm going to wear. She said, matter of fact, I'm leaving the mosque. She said, I'm leaving. Rose left the mosque, put on her fur coat. I started laughing. He said, brother, you know, what you gonna do about your wife? He said, what you gonna do about your wife? I said, listen, you mess with her father gonna kill you. I ain't got to kill you. So
Mm.
it was crazy. Do what? I can't even bless myself. Yeah. So that's what that's what that is.
That's
So
interesting, dog. Like I'm really this is eye opening for me.
see, Fred,
For you, it's not, but
listen,
to me, it is.
let me explain something to you, Fred.
Uh-huh.
Now that we talking, you didn't pay for it. Let me tell you something, bro. You'd be surprised how they treated the women in the mosque, in the temple back then, bro. Listen, bro, you heard about the stories because you wrote about it.
Right.
Brother, brothers, brothers could have affair with the weak sisters. They would put her in C class. She'll be isolated for 5 years unless she walk away from the nation and went back in the streets. And her brother and them wouldn't let nobody mess with her. But the average sister that didn't have no family that didn't want her to join the nation, she would have an affair with her brother. Say a weak sister, not strong like my wife and brothers out of Philly sisters, because they didn't know they had gangsters around them. Brother would take advantage of them when they found out. The ministers in Chicago, New York, they would put the sister in C class.
What's C class? Can you tell us what that is?
It means you're isolated. Can't no brother or sister talk to you.
Wow.
Man, the story that Malcolm put used to show out. You heard that before, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for beating his wife up, bro.
yeah. I know that.
For beating, I'm saying you heard that, bro. Brother would beat up sisters. But brothers wouldn't do that in Philadelphia because they know we would stomp their head in. You hit a sister in Philly, whether you was married to her or not, you got your ass whooped.
Mm.
You got your ass whooped, bro. Because there was no need. You out there doing dirt when your wife finds about it and asks you about it, you want to beat up, brother, I'll stomp your head and crack your head to the white meat.
But y'all that really exploited women, like, oh, dog.
Bro, I'm telling you, bro. Fred,
Wow.
that is no lie, brother. Fred, I'm telling you, brother. Sisters today got it better off in the community than they had it before we went on the chains, before he made Word D. Muhammad, took us on the sunnah of the Prophet, may peace be upon Prophet Muhammad, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, before we went on the sunnah in 1975, after Elijah, that day, after Elijah's funeral, the Imam called a mass meeting. They voted him in. We had a choice to get Farrakhan, John Muhammad, Minister Jeremiah. He didn't want it. And then they voted Imam Wafdi Muhammad in it as the chief minister. He got rid of it. Said, I ain't no chief minister, I'm Imam. And we following the sunnah of the Prophet. He took all the credit. He said, the sister is equal as the brothers. He said, we following the sunnah. You brothers got 4 wives, y'all gonna treat all 4 of them the same. I don't know, I'm gonna put you out. Ain't no more. We ain't doing what my fathers did. I ain't turning no other cheek. I ain't looking the other way. You gonna do what is right, or I'm gonna put you out.
Man.
Or you leave on your own.
So why didn't Wharf D. Muhammad get assassinated?
Why didn't he get assassinated? First of all, he had all the gangsters with him.
Oh,
All the gangsters stayed. Them Pumas went to Farrakhan. Them yes men went to Farrakhan. Brother, we was ready to change in 1975. All us had cases. All of them been indicted. We was time for a change in 1975, 76, Fred. He came to Philadelphia, and he called a lot of the imams that were wearing fur coats and diamond ring. He said, y'all sissies. He said, are y'all going to follow me or y'all going to follow them sissies? Some of these sissies up here on the roster. He wasn't talking about us because he know we were real gangsters. I'm telling you, bruh. Public knowledge, bruh. I was so glad he made the change. He made the change because a lot of us brothers, Fred, wasn't doing right by the sisters. Now, I had a wife. I didn't have no girls on the side. There was a couple of girls like me. I didn't pay them no attention. But when we came in and the law said we can have 4 wives, I told the girl, I said, if you want to get married, she said, your wife got a new car. I said, if my wife get a new Chevrolet, a new Honda Civic, I got to buy you one. She said, I don't want the same kind of car she got. So I said, well, we can't get married then because I'm going by the laws of Islam now. She said, you know what she told me? She said, go with Farrakhan so you can, I had a young lady tell me, stay with Farrakhan so you can do what you want to do. I said, no, I ain't doing that. I'm staying with Imam. Even though me and Imam fell out, prayed, as I told you before, but I love Imam Wafdi Muhammad. I know what he did was right for the community, but the way he did it, I didn't have a problem with him setting me down, but I had a problem the way he did it. What he did as the leader and teacher, trying to get us on the right path to Almighty God, Allah, and to paradise, I didn't have a problem with him setting me down. I had a problem the way he did it.
Right.
Because that brought in the federal government. He got me indicted.
Wow,
See,
very enlightening.
I supported him, but I didn't go around him, Fred. When I went around him, because I was just got on the run, and he came to Newark, New Jersey, and I said this to you before. One for Ali Muhammad's son Amir, I never would have talked to him. And then a few months later, the man passed from diabetes.
You know what's
From
funny?
diabetes.
If Warfd Muhammad would have started this after Malcolm X, he would have had to assassinate his son. You get what I'm
You
saying?
know, Fred,
Because
let me
it's
say
about
this.
money. It's about money and power.
Let me say this.
Yes.
And I'm gonna say this from Philadelphia standpoint, because he was our minister one time in Philly. Wafdi Muhammad. He was our minister one time after Malcolm. We would have protected him. Jeremiah, we would have protected him. We just brought him to Philly, and them niggas wasn't coming to Philly. Seven, Mustafa, they all respected us. Because we miss you, we get your whole family. That's history. You play with Jeremiah, we come get you. And in my opinion, good brothers, you didn't bother our people, we didn't bother yours.
Right.
To say that his father would have gave the order, who knows what he would have done, man?
Right.
I don't know what he would have done. But if he put him out, Fred, he put him out twice for teaching real Islam. So what you just asked me, Fred, it might be true, but I can't bear witness to it.
Right.
If you put your son out the house, ain't no telling what you're going to do to him. If you put your son out right now, and if your wife don't stand up for your son, he going to foster care, right or wrong. Or something going to happen to him on the street because he's so young.
Right.
So, to answer your question, Fred, who knows what this man would have done? Here you had a good soldier in Ronald Stokes, and you didn't let us go? Who knows, Fred? Malcolm wanted to go.
Oh, he definitely wanted to go. Hey, you know what's crazy? I just thought about this right now. This is a very eye-opening conversation for me, so don't think that I'm like being facetious or anything. I know I speak with a lot of sarcasm, but I'm being real genuine. All the other mosques could have done the same thing y'all did because of the space, because there was distance. Like in the 60s, it takes time to get to Chicago. It's not like
But you gotta,
internet or
no, Fred, you're right on the timeline to get to Chicago. But all the mosques wasn't like us. They didn't have killers like us in Miami. They didn't have killers in Tampa like us. They had killers in the streets of Baltimore and DC, but they was Negroes. They weren't in the mosque. The guy that Elijah recuperate when he set up DC #4, them guys wasn't gangsters. They was old soldiers. The mosque got big after Malcolm went down there and brought in them young dishwashers and them young truck drivers. They wasn't gangsters.
So you know what's funny?
It wasn't Fred. The baddest mobs was New York, Chicago, Detroit, Philadelphia, Baltimore, and D.C. Those were the major players. Even Boston wasn't major player, and Malcolm started up Boston. Malcolm started up Hartford, Connecticut, number 13. Malcolm started that up.
Right. He damn sure did.
So, so you can't say the monsters. It wasn't no gangster monsters like Philadelphia, bro. Detroit and New York had some gangsters there.
I get it. I get it. So let me ask you this. Look.
Next question as we wind down.
Yeah. For sure, for sure. So Elijah Muhammad went to jail and then met Farad Muhammad, right?
No.
Well, he came out
Listen.
of jail. No, wait.
No. Let me give it to you. After Master Farad Muhammad came, he taught Elijah in Detroit. Then Master Farad Muhammad came and left. Elijah took over in 1934.
Right.
And Elijah started teaching. When the government got word, he telling people not to go to service, and Elijah refused to go. Elijah was old then, and they was trying to send Elijah. So Minister James Shamaz and Elijah Muhammad was in Maryland Federal Penitentiary in the 40s.
Right.
The government rigged up something because Minister James, who was over 25, didn't go to the service, and then Elijah recruited. That's why Minister James was so powerful in the nation, because he was in prison with Elijah Muhammad and Manland Penitentiary.
Right.
In the 40s.
Right. Now let me
Next
ask,
question, Brad.
now let me ask the question I was going to ask, because there's a connection between prison and the Nation of Islam. Now let me ask this, and let me finish my statement with the question. Elijah Muhammad, James Shabazz, Malcolm X now, right? Malcolm Little, right? They all learned, or him after, but Malcolm X learned about the Nation of Islam in prison, right?
Yeah.
Now let me ask you this.
Elijah went to prison as the head of the nation.
I know. He sure did, and Clara used to visit him. I remember that.
What is the question, Fred? With the bottom line, what is you reaching for?
I'm not reaching for anything, but I got to get the question out so I can. So with that being said, the Nation of Islam, they get government contracts to teach the Nation of Islam in prison, right? Now let me ask you this: do you think the Nation of Islam was created by the government?
No.
Okay.
No, Fred. No.
Okay.
No. The answer is no before you even get out. You saying do the prison get contract for the brother to join the community in Islam? No. They don't get no contract. If you come in jail, if you come in as a Muslim, you go to service. See, let me tell you about the federal penitentiary that I was in. Farrakhan crew had services. The brothers that follow Imam Wafdi Muhammad and the American Muslim Mission, they had their meeting place. Noble Drew Ali people, the Bay brothers, had their meeting places, and the Christian had their part of the jail. That's the bottom line. Ain't no contract, get no grants. Let me stop you on that already.
Okay, now
Next to the last two questions.
No, but there is contracts that they were, the government paid them to teach the Nation of Islam, form of Islam.
Yeah, listen, there was no contract when I was in the state prison that you joined it now. There's no contract.
Okay.
Fred, the chaplain get paid. The imam that's come in and do the Jummah service on Friday, they wouldn't get paid by the state prison or the federal prison. They was getting paid by the masjid on the street.
Right.
So now I don't know who told you that, but that's not true, bro.
Paperwork. It's paperwork that, but we'll talk about that later when I'm at home and I can read you the paperwork and we'll have a conversation about that.
Fred, every paperwork you read, that don't mean that it's true.
Right. So that means your article ain't true.
Yeah.
Right.
So Fred, I'm in the prisons,
I
and
know.
I know no imam. Now, Fred, some
I'm talking about
imams,
imams. I'm talking about the Nation of Islam. I'm not talking about
Fred, see,
Islam.
I don't know about what Farrakhan got going on now.
Gotcha.
But in our day, no minister that came in. When Minister Jeremiah came to speak at the prison on Tuesday nights or Thursday nights, he wasn't getting paid by the prisons.
Okay.
So now, Fred, what it is, I'm gonna tell you what's happening now. You got imams that's getting paid by the prison because they're on staff and they're at the prison every day. That's happening now for the imams.
Got that.
But I haven't seen none of Farrakhan minister have an office at the prisons. But I know the imams got office at all the federal prisons. They got imam and they got a Christian chaplain. Now the outside Marsan Temple, they don't have no chaplain. They have one that come in once a week or once a month. The Christian chaplain, imam chaplain is there every day.
Okay.
I know that for a fact because I just left the feds 10 years ago. I can speak on the federal penitentiary that the three that I was in had chaplains, had a Christian chaplain on staff, and they had an imam on staff.
Right.
Now I can speak on that because I was there with him because I was the imam secretary.
Right.
So every prison I went to, I had a post.
Okay. All right. Let's close on this. What?
Okay.
You said the women were mistreated, correct?
Yes,
What?
Fred. Come on now.
Okay. Now, you've elaborated like them women will
I
look at
told
her.
you already, Fred. There's no more to add to it. I told you what went down. What are you looking for, Fred?
I'm not looking at it.
What I already told you, they was mistreated. What more did they say?
Okay. So, as men, if you're in Philadelphia and you have to do dwellings or interactions with other men,
Fred, stop the bullshit. What is the question that you want to know?
I just asked it. Like, how do you? Nothing, because all you're gonna do is yell anyway. All right, don't worry about it. Don't worry
No,
about
I'm
it. You
saying
ain't
answer
you
the
ain't gonna
question.
answer it anyway. You ain't gonna answer it anyway.
Down to the final question. Don't go around it. What do you want to know?
No, I
Get
never
to
go
the
around
question.
anything.
Don't try to set it up. You ask me the question. Just ask the
Okay,
question.
I'll change the question.
If I can answer it, I'll answer it. I told you
As you
with
look
Miss Kitty, you looking for something else.
as you look back, I'm always looking for something. That's why you ask questions. Now, when you look back, there was no integrity in the Nation of Islam. It was.
If you said it wasn't, it wasn't. If you said it wasn't,
No,
I
I'm
don't
asking,
know.
was there?
I thought it was. I believe that it was, Fred. That's the bottom line. There's no more to say.
Okay, no more to
I
say.
believe that it was.
All right,
I told you certain brothers had loved the nation,
right.
died for the nation, they had integrity. So what are you coming back and saying there's no integrity? I broke it down for you before. You coming right back.
Okay, well, I'm glad you answered it then. I'm glad you answered it.
But why you came back and I already told you?
Maybe I missed it.
No, you didn't, Mr. Fred. You was a smart guy. If you miss what I said, that school need to fire you from coaching them kids. But you don't miss nothing.
Anyway, man, go ahead. It's 4
You
o'clock.
think you
Man.
smarter? You trying to be smarter than me?
No, I'm not trying to be smarter than you. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Perfect.
If I'm smarter than you, why would I?
Last and final question.
That's it. That's all I got, champ. Enjoy your dinner, man. You gotta. You
Hold
take it on.
on. I got to call my nephew and see what he got.
Okay, well, call him. You
Let
ain't
me
gotta
see what
call
he
me.
got.
You ain't gotta call me back. All right,
Yeah, I'm gonna see what he got.